Coming to you from inside the Woody Hayes Athletic Facility, I'm Stephen Means. That's Andrew Gillis, and we talked with Ryan Day for about 10 minutes, his lightning round on Wednesday evening, and he provided a vague update on some very key injuries: Emeka Egbuka, Denzel Burke, Travion Henderson. We were in the building. We didn't watch practice, but we did see as players were coming back in after practice as we're waiting to have interviews with players. We did see Emeka Egbuka. We did see Travion Henderson. Once again, we did not see Denzel Burke. But we also saw Jihad Carter walking around with crutches, even though he was in pads. He did go down with an injury on Saturday, so that's maybe a holdover from that situation. Ryan Day did get asked about those injuries, though, Andrew, and he said that he is expecting those guys to be available for sure. But he also didn't say whether or not they practice this week. We did this last week. I guess we'll do it again this week. How confident are you that how many of those guys Ohio State will have when it plays Wisconsin on Saturday?
I would feel pretty confident with Emeka. I think with Emeka, you saw the pregame warm-up. He was there. He was. The skull session was going on, and Emeka was out on the field, kind of working things out, stretching his leg out, stretching his ankle out, trying to talking through trainers, kind of making sure like, hey, can this go full game? And he was dressed, so was Travion. So I would feel best about those two guys just because they were dressed and they were in pads and they were kind of seemingly, maybe they were just a decoy, but they were seemingly ready to go. So I think Emeka, and then you would have to say Travion is next on that list. Denzel, that's good news if Ryan Day is expecting him to play on Saturday, because Denzel was not even in pads on Saturday against Penn State. So, getting those guys back is now a big deal. But I think that you're through Penn State, you feel better about if they can't go this week, you feel a little bit better about it than you would have last week. Like not having Emeka last week, that, at least for Nathan and I, that caused some concern. And that caused concern, I know, for a lot of Ohio State fans. Now you're into a stretch where you're going to play Wisconsin and Rutgers and Michigan State and Minnesota. You don't have to force them, or if I'm not even saying that, it's just you feel okay about it if they can't go. And I think you're in that position now. So we'll see. Getting them back would be key. But if they can't go, it's certainly not the end of the world at this point.
Travion hasn't played since the Notre Dame game before the off week. Emeka Egbuka hasn't played since the Maryland game. So both of those guys have been out for a longer extension of time. Denzel Burke hasn't played since the middle of the Purdue game when he left that game with an injury. I think you're right. You don't necessarily need them to beat Wisconsin, but you'd like to get them back earlier than later.
You got to start
obviously, because Michigan is waiting for you potentially at the end of the month, the way some of this stuff is going on. But Ryan Day is hopeful and optimistic that he'll have at least some. He didn't say full. He got asked, is he expecting a full roster? He pushed back on the full, but he is expecting some of these players to be back on Saturday, which will be a good thing for Ohio State if they can get a little bit healthier. Nathan and Andrew, they'll be in Wisconsin for the Ohio State-Wisconsin game on NBC at 7:30. I won't be there, but sign up for the text anyway, 614-350-3315. All the information we were getting on Wednesday evening, all information, all news, all analysis going to your phone first, and get Buckeye Talk wherever you find podcasts.